Hey guys, Marquis back here with you. I just wanted to take a minute to share a word of encouragement with you guys for the day. And I guess today's encouragement comes from Matthew chapter 14. It's the passage where Jesus walks on the water and gets Peter to do the same. In this passage, Jesus sends his disciples off ahead of him in their boat, and they kind of row a good ways onto this massive body of water. And at some point, Jesus decides he wants to rejoin the group. But I guess Jesus felt like the quickest way to do that, not have them row back, but simply he walk on the water. NBD, Jesus, you cool, you cool. So Jesus walks nonchalantly on the water, and as he gets closer and closer and closer, the disciples see something off in the distance coming toward them, walking on the water. And they figure this can't be human because people can't do that, so it must be a ghost. But compound that with the fact that they're already kind of nervous and antsy because the strong winds are creating some pretty intense, pretty rough waves that are crashing against each other. So Jesus senses their fear, and he says to them, listen, don't be afraid, it's me. And so Peter's already thinking a little irrationally because he's so afraid, and so he hears this voice, and he says, wow, that sounds like Jesus, but I'm still not positive. So he says, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water. And without hesitation, Jesus says, come. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like God was calling you out onto the waters to do something new, to try something you've never tried before, something that's outside of your comfort zone, that you've been thinking about doing for a while now, but you've just not had the confidence to actually go for it and do it? I want to give you a word of encouragement. Step out in faith. Take that step. Peter heard Jesus' voice, and at his voice, at his word, he stepped out of that boat. Peter could have thought, I don't know, there's a huge possibility that when I step off this boat and my foot comes in contact with that water, that I'll just fall right into the water. He could have said, man, these waves are pretty intense right now. This wind is so strong. I'm not sure what's going to happen. But that's not what he did. He heard Jesus' voice, and he stepped off the boat, and he took that step of faith. I want to encourage you to trust Jesus at his word. He is the one that can do the impossible. He is the one that can strengthen you and empower you to do what he's called you to do. And the very next thing I want to encourage you to do is to keep your focus on Jesus. This reminds me so much of those tightrope walkers in circuses. You ever seen these guys? They're so impressive. They don't have any guardrails to hold on to. They don't have anybody to grab their arm in case they fall. Nope, they're walking along this skinny rope, and they are so disciplined. They don't look on their left or their right. They don't worry about falling. They just keep their eyes on getting to the other side. I want to encourage you to keep your focus on Jesus. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Peter made a pretty big mistake when he was walking on the water. See, he was doing the seemingly impossible and literally walking step by step by step onto the water. But as soon as he heard the strong winds and the crashing waves against each other, he took his focus off of Jesus, and he put his focus on the problems and the conflicts surrounding him, and he fell and began to sink into the water. Now, Jesus being Jesus and being the grace giver, stuck his arm out and immediately grabbed Peter and pulled him back up into safety. But I want to encourage you that if you feel like Jesus is calling you to do something or to go somewhere, that you keep your focus on him. Why? Because if he called us to do it, we have to believe and trust that he will provide whatever is necessary for us to get where he's calling us to go, for us to do what he's calling us to do. So my prayer in my heart for you is that you would step out in faith and trust him at his word, and that you would keep your focus on him. Be dope. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.